Welcome. Already interrupting me again. Again, man. Let me at least get through this time, please. Okay. I just want to introduce our guest today. Last time he interrupted me through the whole intro, and it kind of pissed me off. We got Bernie Sanders and Ben Shabibo. Can you tell me, you were...
It's not fair. It's not fair.
What?
It's not fair that Ukraine gets to be visited by Putin.
What do you mean?
I wrote Putin every day since my bar mitzvah. Every single day. He did not show up to my bar mitzvah. He did not show up once to any of my birthday parties. It's not fair. What did Ukraine do? What did Ukraine do?
Wait, so
Ukraine did not write him every day.
You've been writing him for years.
I've been writing him for years, and he has not shown up to a single one of my birthday parties.
You've been asking Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin has not invaded my birthday party. He has invaded Ukraine, and that is unfair. It is unreasonable. They have not been as dedicated as I have to getting him to invade me.
Okay, so you're saying...
There's some sexual connotations there. You want him to invade?
There's nothing sexual. I just want Vladimir Putin to invade my birthday party.
Why is it that you want Vladimir to invade your party?
It is essential that a great leader shows up to a great person's party. And he is the greatest leader as of right now. I do not want a shitty U.S. president to be showing up to my birthday party. I want Vladimir Putin. If he's not a great leader, why has he been a leader for so long?
Okay, that kind of broke my brain. I want to turn it over to our other panelists.
Yeah, Johnny Dreads here, by the way. Hello, Podcast Nation. If he didn't show up on a bear, like riding a bear, then I think that is pretty unfair. Also, I think that, just writing letters so many years in a row kind of does warrant a visit after a while.
How many times you got to write a man until they come visit your birthday party?
Well, if the Shawshank Redemption taught us anything, it's that Andy Dufresne got a whole library from writing letters. So I think you should get maybe even just an email back from Putin.
Yeah, nothing. He didn't show up. He didn't respond to any of my letters. I double checked. I made sure it was the correct address. I made sure through numerous sources that these letters would get to Putin. So either I've been lied to, or it's unfair.
Now, Bernie, how many years have you been emailing Vladimir Putin to come to your birthday party?
I haven't. Not once. And he still showed up to my bar mitzvah.
He showed up to your
It
bar
was
mitzvah?
horrible. Worst bar mitzvah ever. Hey, no one congratulated that Sanders kid for his bar mitzvah. No one nothing. They were all too distracted by Vladimir Putin and his bear. He brought his bear, and everyone wanted to see him with the bear. A bear does not belong in Vermont, Wisconsin.
You might have had better success if you had just written a letter to Trump and said, ride an eagle and come and visit me.
I didn't want either of them at my bar mitzvah. There's no reason someone that important should be there at a bar mitzvah.
So Putin's just showing up at your bar mitzvah.
He just showed up at my bar mitzvah. It was the worst bar mitzvah ever. I gotta say, you're lucky that he didn't show up to your bar mitzvah. It would have totally overshadowed you. It's your day, and he made it his day. I didn't get my day, but you got your day.
Now, if you could go back today, Mr. Sanders, and redo your bar mitzvah again, is there anyone specific you would invite?
To my bar mitzvah?
Yeah.
No, it's a family occasion. I'd probably invite
Hillary?
family that didn't show up. No.
No, not her.
Not her.
Yeah.
It
would be at your cabin somewhere.
It's a sacred ceremony too. It's for the boys in the church. There's no reason anyone outside the church should be showing. Well, Vladimir Putin he's not Jewish. He has no interest in that.
He's extreme Catholic, isn't he?
Extreme.
What do you think about that, Shabibi? A good Mr. Catholic Putin in his reign.
I think it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant, and it's still unfair. He should have had him show up to my birthday party. It's unfair that he showed up to your birthday party. It's unfair that he showed up to your bar mitzvah. He should have showed up to mine. Because you didn't want him, and I did.
I think he just doesn't like complainers. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason he didn't show up.
I'm losing.
Got to be honest, Ben.
I'm losing it. I lost.
I got to be
it.
honest, Ben. I think you're a little bit more whiny than Putin would like.
Mr. Shavivo, thank you for joining us. Peace the fuck out. Guys, we need to get to something fucking serious. Okay. All right. There's serious things going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
A lot. All around the world, you know. And it's important that we use our platform to speak on these things. So I want to ask you guys, first and foremost, when you were in, like, school, were there any, like, black markets that were, you know, selling anybody selling shit out of their lockers?
I ran like all the black markets out of all of my.
Okay, tell me a little about this.
All the black markets out of all of my lockers. I
Let's
had multiple
pause.
lockers.
Hold
and
on,
I had multiple black markets going
Good.
through.
I forgot to actually introduce. We got Johnny Dreads here, who promised me he's going to put the microphone by his mouth.
Yes, I hope that this is
Today.
an acceptable volume today.
We're going to
So.
try again with this. Okay, tell me about your locker peddling. What'd you have?
Yeah, man. So I definitely started peddling smut.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, porn for sure. Definitely
what
peddled
was your
smut.
source?
So here's what's up. Here's the timeline. Like probably 2006, we got a new computer because I had ruined my old computer with LimeWire.
Jack and
like
Bob.
literal like LimeWire AIDS.
Dude,
So
that's
basically, it was a violent masturbation accident. And then we got that new computer, and the guy who was setting it up was like, "Hey, we can do a DVD burner for you, so that you can rent a movie and then burn it and recreate it, or CDs too." And so, sure enough, my first thought was I should be burning DVDs and CDs and selling them. And my brother had a couple of porno DVDs.
Were you
and
at
I was like,
first-
let's fucking burn this porn and sell it to kids at school. So
Did
that
you
was the
think
first
porn-
racket.
Did you think porn first, or were you thinking like Linkin Park albums first?
It was like
You know what I mean?
simultaneous. It was both.
It was a little bit of like I got
If
the
I could've-
Blink 182 and I got the.
If I
like,
could have
the
dubbed up
titties.
Linkin Park or Blink 182 with the porn, that would have been like the ideal best of both worlds. But I didn't have that option, so I just,
Would you overlay them, or would you do like one after another?
No, I would overlay them for sure.
Oh.
You do the Linkin Park's track to whatever is going
think it would
on.
be pretty
In
sick
the
if you
end,
did,
it
like,
doesn't
a
really matter.
I was thinking about like you show the porn and then play that song. So there's the shame of like in the end, you're like post nut clarity, little sad about the deed you just did.
No.
No. Okay.
Just overlay them so that they're perfectly in sync,
Okay, so you're selling porn out of your locker.
Yeah, I did
Ripped
that.
DVDs.
Definitely made a couple of bucks on that for sure.
How many you think? Be realistic.
Dude, realistically, like maybe $100 total.
That's still
Like
pretty,
$5 at a time though.
That's pretty
so,
fat. You had a good
Maybe
hustle.
sold 25 of those guys.
What was this? Like what year?
2007?
No, I
6?
mean like what year in your education? Like
Oh, that's.
I was a
Middle school?
freshman, sophomore. I was a sophomore.
Whoa! I
Yeah.
thought this was going to be
So
a middle school activity,
it was-
not a high
it was-
school activity.
My high school started sophomore year, so it was the end of my sophomore year. So it was technically first year of high school for me, but it was 10th grade.
that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah, $100 over like a couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Because you probably like stole those CDs from your parents, the DVDs.
No, I just got them from my brother.
Okay.
My brother was 4 years older, so he had like just graduated.
Did
or was
he
like,
sign off on this?
oh, totally.
Oh, sick. He was down.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want to be rap, but that's kind of tight.
I mean, it was pretty cool peddling smut.
Did it escalate? Was that pretty much it?
It escalated in the sense that I was like, what else can I sell? Not like, how can I sell more smut? It was just like, let's move away from this and go to something more profitable. And I think cigarettes was the next thing after that, because everybody wanted to smoke cigarettes in high school. And I knew of a place that would sell me cigarettes at like
yeah,
a...
you had the connect at the underage.
Yeah. And
I was that kid too.
I got a good price for those cigarettes. It was inflated because they knew that they were selling to an underager. And back then, cigarettes were like $5 a pack for like a cheap pack,
And that's if
I
they
th- I
they
think-
charged you up.
My highest like seller or my best seller was the Camel Pinks. It was like mostly a black pack with like pink outliers or whatever.
Yeah,
Camel
buddy.
Pinks. Yeah, and I sold
Were
those
those
to
Slims?
I sold those to a lot of girls. They were a little bit slimmer, yeah.
They were Slims.
And then I made probably like another $200, $300 on like Camel Pinks. And then I was like, well, what's next? Like, how do I make more
We
money?
don't need to talk about drug dealing. That's the.
Hey, I'm not talking about selling drugs. I have not sold drugs up to this
I
point.
had to keep that one out.
I've brought up every other thing. Okay.
Bro, in my middle school, so like 6th grade, there was this rich kid whose dad, for no reason, would just let him buy like multiple 12 packs of Mountain Dew and bring them all to school, and then he would just stash them in his locker, and he was selling off cans of Mountain Dew for like 50 cents or like $1 or something, and then his dad would just keep buying them. So like every other day his dad was buying him like multiple 12 packs of the Dew, and he was just slinging them out his locker in between every class. He would just run there, and every kid knew that like for a couple cents you can go get yourself, because they had healthy drinks only in like the vending machines and the cafeteria. And when they found out, he got into like a lot of trouble for that reason, because they're like, this is a sugary drink, and he's like, damn, I'm just selling off some drinks. And they did not like that. And I've still to this day been confused why like you can't hustle sody pops out your fucking locker in middle school.
Yeah, that is bizarre.
It's a legal thing.
It's not technically legal, is
What?
it? Selling off these products.
Yeah, it would.
Don't you have to have permission to do that?
Well, you run into, like,
under
the food
certain
handler shit.
and under a certain amount of money, you don't have to claim yourself as an LLC or like pay taxes and shit. No kids make it over the 10 grand. You
Yeah,
need.
I feel like it was less legal, or it was more legal back in the day. It's less legal now.
Especially that was back. You know what I mean? That's 2005, 3 probably. You know what I mean?
So on a kind of side note but related, you can make T-shirts and sell those whenever you
did
want,
that.
right? But if you go to a T-shirt company now today, and you try to produce like a Star Wars T-shirt, right? That's owned by Disney. They won't put Star Wars logos or Star Wars figures
shit,
on a
Sherlock.
T-shirt and then print it for you, knowing that you're going to be reselling this because they can get sued for that.
It's licensed material.
It's licensed
motherfucker.
material, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
know what he's saying.
Lessons-
depending on the company and like how sue happy they are, like they can definitely come after you and sue you for those profits, and you might end up paying out the ass for it. Less so back in the day, more so now.
Because there are like custom T-shirts, like submit your own design kind of deal to get it put on a T-shirt.
But they have to get approved.
Right. It's like even though you're getting it just one for yourself. Because I remember like seeing a post of someone trying to do it with Mr. Clean on it, and they're just like, no, for copyright reasons we can't do it.
Yeah,
you'd
it's
to,
all
like,
about copyright.
alter Mr. Clean's appearance in some way to make it your own, but
That's the entire concept of fair use, though.
I did have a homie in high school that we called Mr. Clean, and he looked exactly like him. He had alopecia, so it was kind of a fucked up nickname. But but yeah, no, he tried to do the same thing, and they were like, no, we can't do this. And he was like, no, it's my face. It's not Mr. Clean. And they're like, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Dude, I get it, but at the same time, like, these companies own these copyrights on these things. It makes a little bit of sense why they have to, buy the licensing to purchase your whole product. It's the same whole process that applies to, like, I've been learning a lot about how Twitch streamers get away with a lot of the shit they get away with.
Yeah.
And essentially it's because they've found out which companies don't give a fuck and which ones do. You know what I mean? You can't stream a Nintendo game because they will come the fuck after you and they will bastardize you. But there are entire TV shows that you can watch on a stream without adding any commentary over, and they don't come after you because A, they're probably broke by now, or they just don't care because their content's getting out there
So-
in any way or another. So they found the way to cherry pick the companies that don't give a fuck and stay away from the ones that do give a fuck.
I brought up Star Wars because Disney owns them, and
Oh, yeah.
and Disney will
come the fuck after
They
you.
actively look for that kind of stuff. It would not
100%.
surprise me if they have the money to like pay somebody to look for that.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
then go and sue the crap
Well,
out of
well,
that
the
person.
vision. Yeah.
Guarantee you Nintendo has people watching Twitch streams.
Nintendo
all
is
day
definitely
just
one of them.
Screening these major ones to make sure there's nothing crazy going on.
AMC did that back in the day with The Walking Dead. So when The Walking Dead started, they definitely were looking at who was having like watch parties of The Walking Dead during the first 3 seasons, and Broovies downtown in Salt Lake was playing The Walking Dead,
right.
and AMC sued him.
Yeah.
And AMC won.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a thing. The more popular they are, the more money they know they can make from it. If they have a lawyer on standby that they're already paying,
especially
then
too,
why
you
not
know,
sue
you can-
somebody?
You know you can take down the smaller guy below you.
And that's really what it is. If you already have a lawyer on standby ready to go, like put him to use and like get sue somebody and stop your content from getting out there as best you
Dude,
can.
that's so proven that it's already happened because like all these hit pieces against Joe Rogan, the one like the video of like the N-word and the same article that first started like the transphobia stuff can be traced back to a single person who works for this company I don't remember the name of, but his job is essentially to spend like 30 hours a week watching Joe Rogan's podcast and then another like 10 hours just logging all the things that they can try and use against him. And it's like literally his entire job to just try and fucking...
I feel like that's like the meter-made job of like society like, or
What a
podcasts.
What a bitch-ass job.
Like everybody hates that person. It's like a necessary quote unquote job, but also
It's
like
the concept of like Reddit moderators and shit. Like all they do is
Yeah.
just sit there and make sure you don't break the policies on like a forum board. And it's like, okay,
yeah, maybe go get a real job.
yeah, that's the thing. Like some of these people do that shit for free, and they're like, this is a full time job.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
they
are
treat
you,
it. They
are you
treat it
getting
as a-
paid? No, then it's not. You're doing this for free. You're a suck up sellout.
Maybe you should-
read it. I moderate r/pics. Okay, I'm really important.
It's a full time job, and it's like, you getting paid? No, then you're not a full time job.
maybe
I
you
get a lot of Reddit karma.
maybe you should quit your job that everyone thinks is bullshit and start doing a podcast on Saturday nights with your homies.
Maybe don't quit your job, but request Saturday nights off, and then do.
So do your douchebag job, but also
'Cause you
make a
also-
podcast about it later.
Because you gotta pay rent to have a room
That's true.
to do a
I'm currently
podcast
rent
in.
free right now, and I feel just blessed. Hashtag blessed. So
I kind of jokingly, I think one day on here we did the math of like how much a month I spend on this.
No, yeah, it was last week. We like came to the conclusion it was like what, $150.
for this room,
Oh,
this
more than that,
hour or
probably.
something, or
Oh,
this
yeah,
night.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's studio time, baby.
Studio time.
Fuck, need to rent it out.
My
That's
whole-
like, dude, I got the. We're legit. That's all you need.
My whole life, I always wondered like how guys. You always heard that one guy who was like, "Yeah, man, I got this girlfriend and she's paying my whole way, and I don't really have to pay rent, and I just kind of like bum around. I don't have a job." And I wondered my whole life, like, how the fuck can I get into that position but be a little bit less of a piece of shit? And I've made it, man. I gotta be honest. I've made it.
You made it there, minimal piece of shit.
Yeah.
To a degree, that's kind of what my dad does, though.
Well, I eat a lot of
Yo.
pussy, so.
Yo, let's be honest. You take gender out of that, and if it just becomes like, yo, do you want to be with somebody who makes enough money that you don't gotta worry, and all they want is for you to like hang out and be there with them? Like, what person would not be like? That actually sounds pretty tight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You have to be able to step up and do the opposite for them, though.
Yeah.
At the same time, like my girlfriend allowed me to quit my job and just pursue my motorcycle mechanics degree for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So for 3 months, I just paid no rent, didn't buy anything.
You hold
was
it
just-
down. You
Yeah,
hold it down.
And like now on the opposite end, if she wanted to quit her job,
You would
I
hold
for
it down.
sure would come up with that money because
Yeah.
I've got that money in the bank, and I made sure that I'm saved up and I'm good to go for that.
I think it's one of those other things too, where if you're like unemployed but rent's still getting paid for you, it's like, yeah, that's a clean ass house.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely like my house is spotless.
Right.
You should see my girlfriend's house.
No, that's-
spotless.
I have a buddy who, like a good friend of mine who supported his wife through like 4 years before they got married. They're living together, and he like paid all of the bills for everything so that she could get this like big master's degree in biology. And now she makes like $150K a year, and he's a stay-at-home dad. And he always kind of jokes with people whenever anyone tries to give him shit that like she's the breadwinner and he's the stay-at-home dad. He'll always easily retort back to them like, yeah, that might be the case now, but there was like the reason she is there is because for 4 years, you know what I mean? Like I was working 2 jobs and doing all this other shit to hold down the fort while she got it. He's like, so that's why it's like kind of not an agreement with us, but it's not an issue in the relationship.
No, it's a back and forth.
Yeah, because you each it when you needed it, you each kind of. So I don't think every relationship's a 50-50, you know what I mean? It's like at certain times it's kind of like a 60-40, a 70. Like you're depending on, especially when it comes to like chore specific stuff, I think.
There's a limit to that though too. Like
Oh, of course.
60-40, 70-30, that works good. And it goes back and forth from person to person,
Right.
60-40, 70-30. But also like it should never really get to like 20-80 or like 100-0
Or consistently.
or
also
consistently the other
the
way.
swing
Yeah.
balance, yeah.
It should switch.
Yeah.
But like 70-30 is the max. I gotta be honest, man. Like even when you're fucked up, if you're having like health problems or like whatever, like let's go 70-30. Like put in your effort. There's a lot of things you can do that make a difference. That may not be a lot of effort, but I think 70-30 is where you draw the line. I think no matter what situation you're in, you can always put 30% of your maximum
Absolutely.
effort in.
Well,
So
Well, can we focus right now on changing gears a little bit? All of us put at least 70% energy. We're going to go 80. We're going to tip the scales. And cause we're 22 minutes in almost, and I think we need to finally get to the important things that we need to talk about today. I mean, like, boy, I've been thinking about this a lot these last couple days with everything wrong going on in the world, and I've been just trying to figure out, like, how do you tell your kid they're autistic?
do you really tell them?
I don't know, dude. I've been thinking about
Like,
this.
can you tell them?
Well, you
Well,
could. You
can
could.
tell them.
How do you
But,
approach
like,
this?
Does it matter if you tell them?
Here's the thing. You
Hold on,
you-
let's go with the circle. You start us off.
You
Johnny.
you tell your kid that he's
old?
autistic, and then suddenly he's got a limitation that he has to like
He's
be
aware of
limited
it.
by. He's aware of it. Or you could just focus on making sure that they do
Don't
the
get
things that they
serious.
can do the best that they can do them. Encourage them to like maximize their efforts towards what they're able to maximize their efforts towards.
without going there, if you had to tell your kid they're autistic, how are you doing it?
Yo, I'm
Force
just
you under some way. How are you doing it?
I'm just gonna like I'm gonna make him a great breakfast, right? Ham, bacon, eggs, OJ, fresh squeezed, and then
he
when
comes
he's
out
just
his
like,
room-
"Dad, everything's great," I'm just gonna open hand, palm slap him across
Hold
the
on.
face and say, "Listen, Johnny Jr., you got autism,
Hey, I
and
need
here's
to
what
ask-
we're gonna do about it."
What's- I need to ask.
Dad.
I need to ask. Is this breakfast something that comes already shocking to him? Because you never do this. You're more usually like a get your own cereal type of guy. But he comes out this one day and he's like, "Oh, there's this or is this just a normal thing?" And he comes out and he's like, "Man, my dad's so dope. He makes me fucking breakfast every day."
I mean, I'll make breakfast every day, but
To
not
lead
this
up
breakfast.
into it?
No. I mean, I do breakfast every day because I'm that kind of guy.
And you're adding the smack in there.
I'm
too.
adding like the extra. I'm going the extra mile with like the bacon and like all
violence.
the other stuff. Like, and then like when he's like, "Wow, this is a better breakfast than usual," then he's gonna get smacked just right across the face, and I'm gonna say, "Yo, Johnny Jr., you got autism," but I'm also gonna have a plan. I'm gonna say, "Hey, this is what we're doing about it. You're great at this, this, and this is how we're gonna handle this."
And you're going to get me into the fucking NBA games one day.
Exactly. Like you're autistic, but you're also 7'3". So guess who's
Artistic.
going to the NBA? Which is why I want to have sex with an Amazon lady, and then she'll have my babies, and he'll be like a 6'4" 10-year-old.
What about you?
I'm gonna buy him that hat that says "Please be patient, I have autism." And just make him wear it like
Until he
for
notices?
the rest of his life until he puts 2 and 2 together. But then I don't have to tell anyone else because the hat's self-explanatory. So
Yes!
no one's gonna bring it up really, but they'll treat him as such, and then he'll.
That's
probably,
a really
one
good
day make a
idea.
connection. Or he won't. Who cares?
That's
He
a really
does.
good idea. Everyone's aware around him, so they can all adjust accordingly, being like, "Yo, we got the kid here." You know what I mean? We got to be nice, but also he can just fucking like.
I mean, let's be real. He can probably read the hat.
But it does. You're right though.
Maybe.
It's gonna be a while though between being able to read, because like you can read words way before you can comprehend what I have autism means. You know what I mean? So for a while, he's just reading the words.
Dude, I think your dog just shit.
Really?
It kind of smells like it.
I'll check it out because I have to pee and I'm going to step out.
So.
Brown bear,
You don't smell it? That's wild. Okay.
Oh.
But like,
No.
well, wait, is that window open? Okay. Because I know sometimes people walk their dog by there and you can like hear and smell it.
Oh yeah, and they can hear.
Yeah.
Well, here, let's get back to talking about autistic kids, I guess.
Because like, okay.
No, I like your theory.
No,
though.
I know. But I'm thinking too because it's like they can very obviously read it. But now I'm thinking what he said maybe is that how autistic are we talking?
Well, that's the one thing I didn't want to really try and add, because that adds too many variables, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
So, I guess
medium.
for sake of argument, middle.
Medium.
Okay.
Medium on the steak grade.
Yeah, because I mean, there's like degrees of like Asperger's, Rain Man, Down syndrome. Like, where are we looking at this?
Right in the
High
middle.
functioning.
Right in the middle.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you want to know how I think I would tell mine?
Hmm.
I have two options.
Okay.
Okay. First, I'm going to go with the compliment sandwich
Okay.
type approach, but less compliments and more distractions.
Okay.
So it'll be like, hey, little Johnny, just so you know, we're having dinner at 5. You're autistic, and at 7 o'clock we're going over to Grandma's for cake.
At 7?
Yeah, dude, and I'm just throwing it in there as many times as I need to until it hits. But I'm always sandwiching it with a little factor. You don't need to be so scared.
Oh, she's getting quiet.
So this plan is compliment sandwich to like subliminally drop hints.
Yeah, this is my plan, Johnny. You were out. So essentially this is how I'm going to tell my kid. I'm going to go in and just be like, yo, we're eating dinner tonight at 5 o'clock. You're autistic. And at 7 o'clock, we're going over to Grandma's for some, like, cake and to hang out.
Just
and
slip it
watch.
in.
Yeah, we're
real
going to.
easy.
Right. And I think I'm going to have to do it a couple times. It's not going to catch. But I'm just going to start throwing it in there casually until it sticks. You know what I mean? And then from there, I'm going to hopefully hand it off to the wife to do the explaining part of things, right?
The easy in approach is nice.
And my other approach, Kay, is essentially threaten my doctor and tell them that they need to tell my child.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be there in the room with them. And I'm going to pretend to be oblivious as fuck.
What does that mean, dog?
What? Autistic? What do you mean?
Be
What is
shocked.
that?
That's gonna scare the kid. If you're
is
like
that?
shocked, you're like, "Oh my god, doc, he's autistic."
I didn't think about
Is
that.
he gonna die? And then now you think your kid. Now your kid thinks he's gonna
Am
die.
I autistic?
And then
The
you
kid's
turn
over
to
here
your
just
wife.
Like, all he has is just a little more than normal obsession with Legos, but it's acting like this.
Whoa,
is
what does Legos have to do with it? I fucking love Legos.
I'm saying a little more than normal obsession, like that. He's just very, because you know how like certain types of autism just has like that hyper focus thing, where it's like one specific thing.
Well, now you got me really concerned because you know how much money I've spent on Legos in the last 30 days?
Johnny, I think.
Like $300-$400.
Well, good news
So,
is-
am I autistic, Dad?
Bro, this
Oh, God.
This is why we brought this up on the pod.
You telling me I'm autistic?
Did you know how we were saying we needed to tell the kid they're autistic?
Fuck. Am I the autistic one?
Johnny, we're 30 minutes into this podcast. You're autistic, and we got 30 minutes left to go.
Shit. Well, I gotta say, I think I'm a high functioning autistic person. So
Do we have to say the disclaimer that we're like,
No, we're dead serious.
you guys really think I'm autistic? What are the signs of autism? It's not just Legos, is it?
It's
'Cause I
mostly
fucking love Legos.
It's mostly Legos.
Okay. To make you feel better, someone with autism that obsessed with Legos would not be here right now. They'd be home playing with Legos.
Okay. I have like 5-6 boxes of Legos that I have not built yet.
Yeah, so you have the self-control.
It's called
to
being
come
lazy.
here
Yeah.
instead of playing with Legos.
Okay.
So-
Fair enough.
Attention seeking and lazy more so than Lego obsession.
I mean, my Lego obsession is strong. I just have like a bunch of projects going all the time. But I do like on the autism level.
Do you like
I
it
do.
because it's a small world you can control?
Kinda. It's more about building things. It's more about like it's the anti-ADD thing. Like I have the anti-ADHD thing. Like I want to sit and focus with zero distractions.
You realize
and just
that's
do
a
my
major
thing.
part of ADHD, right? It's
Yeah.
hyper focus.
Huh. I didn't know that.
ADHD
Waves.
kids, yeah, it's when an ADHD kid gets into a task that they enjoy, they are able to block out this weird hyper focus where nothing else in the world exists other than that thing, and they will hyper focus on it for 12 to 16 hours, maybe a couple days, and then that thing automatic. I don't want to say it doesn't exist anymore, but like that hyper focus isn't the opposite of ADD. It's almost like an integral part when it's focused in the right direction.
I don't have the desire to do that for like 24 hours straight.
No,
But like 3-4 hours of good building Legos, like I can still have a conversation while I'm doing it.
You're all
It's a
the-
distracted conversation, but
right.
I can still
You're not looking at your
multitask.
phone as much, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of in that zone.
I am in that zone, but that's just concentration. I don't think that that's like ADHD or ADD or whatever. So, autism.
See,
Yeah.
I saw a
I-
pretty good story once about autism though, where it was a guy recounting online growing up, and he's like, I grew up in a single parent household, and my mom was an escort, but she'd work from home kind of deal. And so every night she brought a person over. She'd take me and my brother and put us in the back room. Before she locked the door, she'd say, take care of your
What is
brother.
happening?
He's autistic, and she did that every night. And then when, like, 20 years later, me and my brother still don't know which one our mom was talking about.
Oh my God.
Separately put you in there one at a time.
Oh my
He's autistic. Take care of him.
Just put them both in and, like, stare both of them down. It's like, take care of your brother. He's autistic. And then to close the door.
Right.
Holy
And then
fuck.
both of those guys have like top Lego collections.
Grade A ones.
Right. So actually, real talk, I do have a grade A Lego collection.
That's fine.
No
Can
joke.
Can we talk about a serious matter finally?
I mean, what's more important than Star Wars Legos, dude?
There's something really important going on right now.
The most important thing in the planet?
Probably crucial to the Earth's history. And it's, oh man, I don't even know how to.
It's van life.
It's van life.
Man, van life is pretty
That is-
important right now.
Yeah. Keystone to civilization right now.
A precursor to this van life conversation is Chris Farley. He once had a Saturday Night Live skit where he does
We're gonna
Matt
really
Foley.
do the old man down by the river.
The Matt
joke.
Foley, yeah. It was the inspirational speaker. And,
We've seen it.
yeah. If you want to end up writing
That's a great.
books
That's a great.
and
that's a
rolling
great
doobies
tangent.
down by the river, then you're going to live in a van. And nowadays, that's like the American dream, is
Oh, fuck
rolling
yeah.
doobies in a van down by the river.
Not having to pay some fucking stupid idiot for some fucking property taxes.
Well, there's a lot of money that goes into it still. I mean, you can't just dump your shit
Well, no
on the
shit,
side of the
Sherlock.
river. So you got to pay for that. You got to pay for lot fees if you're parked somewhere.
Johnny,
you got to
do
pay
you
for
wanna-
gas.
do
You
you
got to pay
want-
for insurance, which is higher because it's RV insurance and it's not fucking. There's a lot that goes into it.
Are we making fun of van life people, or are we giving a tutorial on what you need to van life?
Well, if you want to make fun of van life people, I can tell
I
you
think
my
that's
buddy
way-
almost blew himself
I
up
think
today
it's
living
way
in his
more
van.
fun to make fun of van life people than it is, because like they can just go watch tiny home shows or van life shows. Like we don't need to fucking. But your
It's
buddy,
crazy that a tiny home costs more than like a normal home.
no, it did not.
It does.
What do you call a normal home? What do you put a price on a normal? What number?
Depends
are
on
you
the
saying
state you
that
live in.
Okay, yeah,
equates
I'll
to?
give you that. It does depend on the state.
Yes.
Because I've seen like normal homes that go for about
400,000 here in Salt Lake.
400,000, but then there's like 800,000 tiny homes that they showcase.
Those are so like the insane.
An $800,000 tiny home? You fucking
Yeah.
kidding me?
It's like
No, they commercially sell them pre-built with everything you need in it for about 40 to 50.
well, yeah, but the tiny home show.
Oh, that's two different things.
Yeah, no, this is my.
That's trying to glamorize
it's like
and
glamorize
The
try.
tiny home show is geared towards retirees and pensioners who are like, how can I spend $300,000 on this $45,000 tiny home?
I don't even think it's about like investing in the tiny home community and making people want to like spend a lot of money on tiny homes. I think it's trying to up your production value to make your show that much more attractive to gain more eyes, because these people don't have stake in tiny home businesses. They just want to show you the most ridiculous tiny home they can make, put an insanely low value on it, so people like me can spend 3 months watching the show with gritted paper being like, all right, this is a foot each, and I had my whole like tiny house planned out because I thought I could do it, you know what I mean? And that's all it was. They're upping the production value to keep you in.
But it's like I'm still, because it's never old people that live in these on the
No.
show. It's always like
Old people
20-year-olds.
Old people just buy a trailer.
Yeah, old people do just buy like
Yeah,
a Winnebago.
fifth wheel.
My parents have bought different fifth wheels in the last 3 years. My dad's bought three
Oh,
different
shit.
trucks because they just keep upgrading. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good business.
They're currently in a place I won't name for the next like month
So-
and a half, just chilling.
I was actually at the boat show just the other day, like last week or two ago, and I'll tell you, I bought a hot dog and a White Claw for like $15, and that was $1.50 worth of shit for $15. So if we're talking about a highly profitable business, maybe we should start selling fucking hot dogs and White Claws,
Jesus Christ.
because that's about a 1,400% increase on your
So,
your profits.
what do you think would be better? A person living in like a small dingy boat or someone living in a van? Like, which one would you rather do?
Ooh,
I'd rather do the boat, man, bar none. It's a little bit more expensive in certain areas, but it's
maintenance and upkeep on.
yeah,
the
maintenance and
First.
upkeep for sure, and like there's like port fees or docking fees or
Yep,
whatever.
yep,
like,
that's gonna be way higher.
but
than
that's
just
so much
parking
more
it in.
worth it because look where you get to go and the things you get to see, the people you get to be around. Whereas like the van, man, your van could get broken into fucking any day. You could get robbed. You could get pulled over and ticketed. You could get towed. There's so many other bad things that could happen. Whereas like, if you live on a boat, and like the worst thing that could happen is like God throws a fucking hurricane your way and you like sink and die. But other than that, you're probably just going to be fine.
So there's a park right over
You just
here.
have to find the right place to park it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that as bad for like the van lifers, truthfully, because there are 2 vans that are habitually parked on the side of Fairmount Park for 3 years now. They have been parked, 2 big vans, both of them I know. One's got this big blue bungee cord that holds it together. They park on the east side actually. And I think they just leave for a couple hours every day and go park in like a neighborhood somewhere and then come back. But they have been chilling there uninterrupted, it seems, for 3.5 years now.
Okay, so here's the thing: is that cops definitely come and harass them about it, but the cops' ability to like do anything other than come and harass them about it
And they
is
eventually,
very limited.
which is why they eventually
Yeah.
stop harassing
So,
them
like,
about it. 'Cause there's nothing they can do. It's not worth
you
their
can
time.
do the similar thing with like public camping areas, not in national parks, but like just like BLM land.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks is the limit, and then a cop comes and he says, "Hey, you got to move your car."
And they
Well, you
come-
can move it for a day and then come right back, and you got your 2 week limit starts over
They do
again.
have a little bit more strict limits. Like, you got to be more than 40 miles outside of the national park for your 2 weeks.
Right.
But they don't consistently track that. And I only know this because when I was at Utah State, there was a buddy who lived in Green Canyon in an igloo, and he was straight up living in this igloo selling drugs out of it in this canyon.
Which was super
And-
smart, by the way.
It's super smart. And after like 3 months of him living out of this igloo, the neighborhood people who kept seeing his car being parked there every night ratted him out. And he showed up to an eviction notice attached to his igloo that was staked into the snow of the igloo with a stick. So, like, the cop had to come up with his eviction notice and be like, how do I get this here? So he got a stick.
But she had to like spend government money to go buy a steak from like REI.
No,
and,
not
like,
not a steak. A stick.
Oh, a stick. Okay.
Like broken off from a tree,
Yeah, okay.
just stabbed with a stick into
Old school.
the side of his igloo, just an eviction notice. And he called them, and he was like, I'm homeless. What are you going to evict me from? And they were straight up like, we'll come take all your shit.
Cool.
They threatened like to come like take his cot and sleeping
Right?
bag.
You're gonna
pretty
take my
much.
sleeping bag
He's
and my
like,
fucking igloo, like melt the ice. Like, what are you gonna do
Told him,
about
he's
it?
like, "You guys
Build it.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of ice, dude.
So he had this routine that was like Green Canyon was on the north side, and that was BLM land. But down at Blacksmith Fork Canyon, that was National Forest land. And those two people beef, so their systems don't talk. So while they each say you can spend 2 weeks there, but you had to be 50 miles away for your next 2 week, they don't communicate. So he would just bounce 2 weeks at each spot and get away with it. 'cause
That's
they
a smart
all-
loophole.
Yeah, so he lived for like 3 years going to school up at Utah State, just living out of his car in a tent.
That's beautiful.
Bouncing
That
between
dude must have saved like maybe, I don't know, 3 years of rent at $1,000 a month. That dude saved like 35 grand.
It would just be a party up at his campsite every night. He would just
Yeah,
like,
fuck
convince
it.
people to come up and just sit around the fire and bring beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, potluck, and then he doesn't have to get food because people bring their own.
Yeah, they all bring their own
He just
food.
takes
And
leftovers.
he's I don't want to say he was because that makes it sound like he's not anymore, but he is like one of those highly energetic, kind of like Alton type of dudes who just like you want to be around them. So you're like, if I'm gonna go sit around a campfire, like I want to go sit around fucking his campfire. That's gonna be like a hell of a time. I just know it.
Dude, and I'm all for that, man. If you can be like a nomad, but like be respectful to the land that you're living on, and then leave within a timely, 2-week period, I guess, and then come back later and, reoccupy that area, that's
I
fine.
agree as long as
Like,
it
that's
was-
what that area is for people to be there. So who's to say that 2 weeks is too long? But I can say for sure that like a year is too long or 6 months is too long.
Well, and even in these areas I was just talking about in Logan, they do have problems with these gypsy camps
Yeah.
that are notorious for coming through for like 3 months at a time, and they have a different person answer the door every time the cops show up, and all the rest of them hide, and they somehow get away with being like,
No, I'm a different person.
I'm a different person, but I'm using their trailer, which doesn't like
Yeah.
somehow skirted around the rule, you know what I mean? And
Man, I think as long as you're like leaving no trace, it's fine. I
most
really
of
couldn't
these
care
ones
less.
weren't, unfortunately.
And that's the thing with like gypsy camps is like, yeah, they're leaving a bunch of trash and just totally wrecking the area.
They
like,
wreck the
I have no
area.
problem with the college kid who's living in the igloo that's gonna melt and like he cleans up his trash and like all of that. Like, dude, if you're not wrecking the area, go for
Absolutely.
it.
He was super serious about like every morning he would wake up all hungover. He would go around and pick up all the wounded soldiers and all the leftovers, and he would drink them. But it was also his like, all right, I gotta clean this place up. You know what I mean?
I'm an Eagle Scout, man, and like leave no trace was like just beat into me for sure. And like I'm a firm believer like that's definitely what separates our state from a lot of other states is that people leave trash just freaking everywhere. And like Utah is super clean, man. Like we are actually a very clean state comparatively. And like
Nice place to live.
Dude, I took a walk around my girlfriend's her new like apartment complex today, and like people just left their dog shit everywhere, and somehow there was not like an ordinance that said like you get fined if you pick up your dog shit. There was just dog shit everywhere, and I was like, dude, I've lived in bigger apartment complexes with more dogs that had less dog shit left on the ground, and somehow like people just didn't do their civic responsibility to like. Yeah.
California people that were living in my apartment for a while, they just leave their trash on their front porch. They didn't have a front porch; it was the hallway, and they just leave it out there like they had room service or something.
Yeah, it's a joke.
But
But hey, man, if you're picking up after yourself, you're responsible, you're not bugging people, do whatever the fuck you want. That's the libertarian point of view.
Diet Republican. Let's.
final question on van life.
Okay. Okay.
What if you put the van in that, like, knee-high lake? Sorry, you put the boat in that knee-high lake in Fairmount Park. Would that be the move?
No, that shit's super boggy. You know what I mean? So you'd be like,
You might.
can't move.
You might put some like pollution in the lake that would affect wildlife because it's so small.
Okay.
That would be my concern. Because boats definitely do put out a little bit of pollution.
we
like,
can't
from their
actually
engines.
move anywhere
That's
though
true.
either because there's so much algae in that little pond. Like you couldn't have.
You could
a
affect
crop.
the ecosystem there.
Them birds.
A
them birds
kayak
would be
or
fucked
like
up.
a kayak or like something inflatable, yeah. But like a boat, you're talking about like a real boat, like a
And
fiberglass.
you know what? You
Like
can
a
sleep
decent
on the
boat.
shore right next to that and no one bothers you. Why would you risk going out and like hovering over that nasty ass water?
You're talking about like a fiberglass hull boat with like
Yeah.
with an engine.
No.
Float to the other side of the lake.
I mean, we've definitely dodged cops on lakes before by just going to the opposite side of wherever
You
the
know
cop
what we're
was.
talking about, right?
Yeah, Fairmont, like across the.
Yeah, that pond that's like the size of my house.
Yeah, no, that's not legit. You can't do that.
That's what he's talking about. We're not talking about going to Jordan Ellen.
No, I'm talking about like putting a kayak out there or something, like a float. Like
You ain't out running. Dude, a cop could
Dude.
run around that lake in the time you would get halfway around with your kayak.
you could put an inflatable mattress out there, okay, and then just
Why?
push out to the middle,
Why?
and then no cop would be able to get you without getting a boat of their own out there. So like that'd be the move. But like an actual boat with like a hole, no, absolutely not.
Okay. I like inflatable raft though.
I'm thinking mattress, dude. Inflatable fucking mattress. Just put a
like a queen.
like a queen size mattress. Just push out to the middle.
You two,
No one could get you.
to a window.
You could do a lot of shit out there.
Do you only breathe through your mouth?
Matter of fact, we should have a party of inflatable mattresses on the middle of that park.
Fuck you. Can we finally talk, guys? We only have like 15 minutes left.
Okay.
I want to really talk about the important things affecting our world with our last little bit. You know, what I mean?
Okay.
Get a little bit more serious. Talk about, the great trials. And for this, I wanna watch a video
Okay.
with you guys. Oh, I'm
The great trials of life, huh?
Monday, beautiful soul man. I want to share a little story and remind you that you know things that people need to hear. I'm not talking from a educational, knowledge-based standpoint. I'm talking from intuition. So I was just filling up my gas at Smith's, and I paid cash today. And when I spoke to the kid who was working in there, he had such a beautiful energy, such a bright light. And when I was like, oh my gosh, who is this person working, this job? And I kept hearing when I was filling up for gas, he needs to hear that he's amazing and he needs to hear that he has potential. And I was like, and I just kind of kept sitting with it, and I was like, I'm sure he knows, or the world is going to keep spinning in its orbit even if I don't tell him, so will it really even make that big of a deal? Just basically talking myself out of it, because I was thinking of Teresa Caputo, the New York medium, how she just goes up to people and like gives unprecedented readings. Not to say like that's bad, because I know she changes lives, but I also know there's just that energetic consent. But anyways,
Okay, I'm sorry to pause here, and I gotta steal Connor's mic because mine's down by the thing. But I just want to point out she talked here about energetic consent, okay, and how it might not be that cool to just invade people's energy.
Like how you're invading Connor's mic.
My energy from the mic.
Connor did not consent to that.
I kept hearing it, and I was like, fine. So I go up to him, and he's like, yeah, can I help you? And I was like, so this might sound weird, but I'm intuitive, and I'm getting messages that I need to tell you. I was like, do you have any kind of like dream or anything it is that you're wanting in life? And he's kind of like thinking about it. And I was like, I'm being told you need to go after it. And I'm being told that your potential is out here and it's just waiting for you to meet it. So dream bigger. And his face literally lit up. He had this beautiful smile. His eyes were so bright. And then he's just like, thank you so much. Have a great day. And I was like, you too. And like, I have no idea the impact that could have.
He lit up because he gets to tell
But
his
it's like
friends he
when
was
you
a schizo
feel the
today.
nudge, you have to follow it. That's the divine working through you to be an earth angel. Literally, we all have the capacity to be a divine conduit of these messages, but we have to listen when we get the promptings. And it doesn't matter about how it's perceived, because when it comes from the divine, like, we are in service to the divine. Like, that is our job. And so the more you open up that portal and you answer these callings, the more you're going to receive higher responsibilities that are in alignment with your path. The messages that come to you, and trust that you don't have to know the end result it's going to create, but you get to be the divine conduit for someone's life. You get to be a light in whatever way possible. The
Okay.
magic that
I have a lot to say on this because I
Okay, let's talk about
I worked at a gas station, all right, and I also went to a gas station earlier today and had a similar thought with this. So when I was working at the gas station, there were definitely those weird fucking people that came in and they were like, "Oh my god, like your energy, you're picking up something from you," and like I would fuck with them and I'd be like, "Really?" Because I've got this energy that I've been thinking about all day, and like I was putting it out there, and I'm so glad someone received it.
I do have goals.
Which was totally objective and bullshit. And I was like, you think I have goals? Of course I have goals. You think
do I have dreams?
I don't want to work at this fucking gas station anymore. No way. How did you know? And you're like, oh my God, you should work somewhere else. And like whatever your dream is, you should go follow it. And the irony there is that I did go and fucking follow my dream, and it went nowhere. I went back to school with you. Matter of fact, that's when you and I met each other. Was when I went back to school after working at the gas station, and I went and got my plant science degree thinking that I was going to be some freaking plant scientist for whatever job that would specifically entail. And sure enough, it went nowhere. I did finish the degree, and it just like got me nothing. But these people who come in, they're like, I need to share my light with you, and I just need to help you. It's like, no, you fucking don't. I was already going to college without you and your bullshit.
It's virtue signaling harassment, isn't it? It's like them coming in and needing to not only announce to this fucking poor kid who's just trying to make ends meet, probably his second job, you know what I mean? His fucking mom's homesick. He's just trying to do his thing to make sure he can fucking pay for his bills. And she comes in and she's like, you need to do better than this. And he's like,
that's a
what the fuck? You know what I mean?
that's
like,
a very
and
judgmental
not
point
only
of
that,
view.
do you know what I hate? She started this off by saying and pointing out that she paid with cash, which means she needed to go into the building and physically give somebody money to do that, which means she automatically assumes by telling that kid, hey, you deserve better than this, she knows already ahead of time that she's above a gas station because she needs this person's service.
It's a judgmental point of view for sure.
She needs this person's service so she can get gas, but she also wants to shit on them for being the person who's willing to provide that service.
So is she going to go in every time after that when he quits and goes back to college to chase his dream? Is she going to go into the next guy and say, you're better than this, even when he's like a 56-year-old or 60-year-old pensioner?
Or be like, yeah. This makes sense.
Is she going to tell that
your
same...
energy's weak and you deserve to be the cash taking guy? Not like the guy before you who had great energy and is
potential.
destined to be something one day. And no, you're just a fucking piece of shit who deserves to work at the gas station.
Okay, so I literally, right before I got over here, I was at the gas station and I had a similar thought because I know this gas station attendant, like the cashier, and I've met him several times, and he's got a great personality, and he seems like somebody who would do better not being a gas station attendant. And that thought had occurred to me like, hey, man, maybe you should try something else. Maybe you should do something that's more suited to your personality.
Right.
But you know what? I kept my fucking mouth shut because I'm not a piece of shit and an asshole.
Not a piece of shit who
Yeah,
needs to harass
because I used to work at a gas station. I was him like 3 years ago. And I'm not going to tell him, man, you could do so much better. Like, maybe I'd question him and say, hey, man, like, what's going on with your life? What do you want to do?
Dude.
I'm not going to say, dude, you got this potential and you're just not letting your light shine. What?
You think any gas station workers there because they're like, you know what? I've realized my full potential. Okay.
I've known one.
And it's
That's
taking-
it. Of all the
And you know
gas
what,
station
though?
attendants, I've
Hey,
known
you know
one
what,
who's
though?
like, that's his best spot. And he did
Let's
well.
put respect
He did
on
well.
his name. Let's
Yeah.
put respect on his name because we need people. I hate to say it, we
sure.
we rely. That's the backbone of this society is people like that, and we constantly shit on them, acting like we don't need the gas station attendant to make sure that we can fucking pay for our gas, acting like we don't go to McDonald's every other day and need that worker to fucking make our burger for us. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It might be a stepping stone to a better job and like encourage people to like, you know, constantly move up. I think we should all be moving up. You know, I'm never going to stay at my one job for the rest of my life. I constantly switch it up and move up,
Right.
learn a new skill. But also, like, I'm definitely not going to be like, you're wasting your potential here. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, this is a job to get me what I want to the next
I
step.
gotta pay my
Like,
bills, dude.
Everybody has a plan. Like, don't shit on his
Do you think
fucking
this was
plan.
my end? Do you think this is the final step for me?
Right? Like that 19-year-old kid at Smith's gas station was like, no, I was going to do this for the rest of my life until this girl from fucking Alta showed up. Like,
Bro, I was gonna be a gas station attendant for my entire life, and then this girl with red hair showed up, and she told me how dope my vibe was, and I can't tell you, like, I'm so excited that I finally now understand my potential and know that I can fulfill my dreams because I know now that I am capable.
so I'm going to go home, meet up with my homies, and start a podcast.
When I graduate high school, I'm getting a better job.
When I graduate from college with a degree, I'm gonna rent out one of my own bedrooms to be a studio in my house.
Oh, and here we are.
Hey, sup TikTok?
Fucking A.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Can we do the?
I'm just thinking too about the kid. It's like, do you think he probably just sat there? It's like, wow, what a strangely sexy, like, psychopath.
Yo, I would, if it was me in that position, which was like 3 years ago, I definitely would have been like, oh my God, you're so right. Can I have your number? Let's go talk about this later at the bar tonight.
Dude, and all her shit, Johnny. I'll show you some more later, but like.
Nah, please don't.
We've been covering this crazy bitch.
It is nothing but tits and ass and, like,
Bro, she literally
calling
like
it mystic.
she does these.
Oh,
things.
she's like half naked and then like being like a quote unquote mystic, a shaman,
Yeah.
a cultural
dude.
shaman.
And then it's literally like, I do these dances to absorb light codes, and so she's dancing all weird, doing this like weird
Basically
king
twerking.
touch shit. But however, every video starts with her setting the camera down like this, and it's just a gigantic cleavage shot for the first like 10 seconds.
She does that
Oh,
on
she-
purpose.
oh, it's
she
a
could buy a mount.
It's 1,000% on purpose, bro. Dude, we got a minute and a half left. Are we gonna finally get to it?
All right.
We gonna do it?
The most important thing to talk about.
Neil Young.
Oh, I was gonna. I forgot about the Neil Young thing.
Hell, that's right. What do you mean? How do you forget? This is huge.
Because if you don't get your,
This is the most important.
because if something bothers you, throw a temper tantrum.
Yeah. Not only that, back out of it because you're not making any money from your temper tantrum. So now your music's back up on Spotify.
Yep.
I forgot I was maybe not supposed to bring this one up.
Maybe
but,
not might be true, but
But it's the Prepared for Nothing podcast. We don't really do research. We're kind of more feelings people.
did we happen to push a false agenda? Maybe. Did we research the false agenda to see if it was false? No.
I mean, do we know for a fact that Ben Shapiro is angry that Pootie didn't come to his...
Dude, he's angry because his daddy didn't love him.
No, I think
He was
this...
in the studio. He said it.
He said it.
That's an interview.
He
That's
straight up told us.
That's like the
fact.
most valid
That's fact.
source you can get. Yeah.
So from that, we can know from fact, because you can trust us because of Ben Shapiro, that Neil Young's back on Spotify.
Yeah, Neil Young's back on Spotify.
Hey, you can find anything on the internet. It's always there.
Rule 34.
The internet doesn't forget, baby.
Rule 34.
34 Neil Young.
Oh, God.
Nasty.
All right, friends. Johnny, thank you for fucking being here and sticking the mic in your goddamn mouth this time.
Hopefully you can hear me this time.
You did a little better today on that one. We'll catch y'all later, guys. Have a good night.